Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Veterans Growing America podcast. I am here with your host, Donnell Johns and R.L. Simmons, and we have brought a special guest with us today, Andre Connell, and he is the president of We Fish LLC. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you. Sincerely appreciate the invitation and just excited to be able to share about who I am and what We Fish LLC is all about. So let's do it.
All right. First of all, this is an honor for me to have you on the show. I mean, you're an amazing individual, and I'm glad to have you a part of the Veterans Growing America family. But let's introduce you to our audience. Can you tell us a little bit about your military experience and background?
All right. Well, I'm an Army veteran, served 20 years and 1 day in the United States Army. Took a unique path in my Army career. I started out as an enlisted man, as a private, and went for something else more challenging. After about 6 years as an enlisted, went to warrant officer school and became an AG warrant officer. And then did that for 3 years, and then was looking for something even more challenging. So I went to OCS and became an Army officer, second lieutenant, and did that for the rest of my career. Retired as a major in the Army from the Army Human Resources Command. My last assignment was at the Army G1 at the Pentagon. Retired in 2013, and then worked as a contractor for the government for a few years until I decided to branch out as a business owner on my own in 2019.
Hey, so sounds like from the rigors of your career, like you always wanted a challenge. You always seen like, hey, it's always time to get better. It's time to get better. So how did your military experience influence your journey as an entrepreneur?
I think it prepared me one for the service industry. My entire military career, I've been a human resource, enlisted, warrant officer, and officer. And as human resource, or adjutant general, as we call it, it's all about serving. It's all about the people. It's all about giving. It's all about sharing. And my greatest joy is giving back to the Army, giving back to my community, giving back to my church. That's what I'm about. I'm a servant. I'm a leader, but I'm a servant first. So what I did in the Army as a human resource, enlisted, warrant officer, and officer really prepared me for what I'm doing today, actually continuing to serve my community.
As a human resource professional myself, I'm there with you. And in fact, we served under the same capacity. I'm just finding that out under the G1 in 2013. So we have to have a conversation about that. But what inspired you to start your own business?
Well, it started during my transition, when, in 2013, you have to go to these out briefings or retirement briefing. And one of the briefings I went to talked to, being a business owner. In that class or presentation, it just hit me that, after serving in the military, I really didn't want to work for anybody. I really just wanted to work for myself. I explored several options, I connected the actual person who presented the briefing at the retirement out brief, connected with him because he was a small business advisor, and kind of told him what I was looking at. I told him, I want to work for myself. He presented me with some options. Here are some things that you could look at. He actually gave me three business ideas, connected me with people who were in that same in those same businesses, and I had the opportunity to talk to them and see what were their how did they like it, how what were they doing, how would they do anything different. And from there I actually started a business in 2013, I started an ice cream business. I was a wholesale distributor for ice cream. So I had, these, if you can think of the major grocery stores in Virginia, and if you look in those grocery stores, you can see freezers with ice cream. I own 40 of those in Virginia. And, I did that from 2013 all the way till last year when I sold the business. So that was my first business upon leaving the Army. Selling, it was healthy ice cream. So it was something, not only that provided income, but it was good for the consumers. So that's what kind of drew me to that niche. So I did that, and it took off, and got into it, set it up, established it, and sold the entire business in about a year ago. And then I branched out into another business. Well, when I stopped working for the government as a contractor, started another consulting company, Watson Connell Consulting Company, where I said, hey, I want to work for myself. So under the I formed a consulting company. So under that, I could have different businesses. One of those businesses was a notary. I'm a mobile notary. I'm a loan signing agent. And this all happened, just over time, just like my military career, I want to do more. I wasn't satisfied with where I am or where I was. And, got certified as a bookkeeper through QuickBooks. So have that under my belt. Working on my real estate license. So I'm never satisfied being, in one place. And then this We Fish LLC, this happened, based on relationships. I was not part of the original partnership. It started with 6 men. 3 of them, we actually went to the same or attend the same church. And, they recruited me. They started the business, but it honestly, it was just an idea. It was just an idea. And they basically said, we need somebody to manage this thing. We need somebody to, put legs on the ideas. And they brought me in and made me the president. And since then, I've been, running We Fish LLC as the president, and just, have different branches of We Fish LLC. Started a nonprofit, finally got the nonprofit going. We Serve Too is also part of We Fish. So that's a nonprofit branch, and I'm the president of that as well. So it's just, I'm never satisfied with being, the same. I want to continue to move forward. So.
Hey, so when they brought you into We Fish LLC, what was the unique part about the business that made it attractive for you? And then can you just kind of describe the unique proposition of the business?
Right. So We Fish LLC. So it sounds like we're a fishing company, but that's not really who we are. The thing that pulled me into We Fish LLC was the story behind, what we sell apparel right now, fishing apparel, but it's the story behind the fishing apparel. Basically what we do, we love to fish. That's first and foremost. And we also love God. We love the kingdom of God. And we have a vision to win souls for the kingdom of God. That, first and foremost. And secondly, we have a passion for fishing, and we want to share that passion with our community, especially our young people. The way I grew up, loving the fish, loving the outdoors, loving to be outside. That's not the same today. Our kids, our young people, they're more comfortable inside on their computers, just doing things that does not require a lot of physical activities. So We Fish provides that outlet where we have men who know how to fish, experienced in fishing, come from various backgrounds where their parents, grandparents taught them how to fish. So they have the expertise, they have the knowledge, they have the know-how, and they have the eagerness or the they just want to share that passion with our community. So what drew me to We Fish LLC was that concept of sharing with our community, giving back to our community, especially our young people, and it's not limited to young people. I mean, we've had adults, we took a church group, a group of women who've never fished before. We took them out on fishing charters and taught them how to fish. So what drew me was it provided an opportunity to just give back, I'm retired. I'm not, hard pressed, to get anything back materially or financially. It's more fulfilling for me to just give of myself rather than to receive. And my other partner, the other 6 men on this partnership, we all feel the same way. We're all, experienced. We all have our special skills. We have electricians, we have roofers, we have, painters, we have, professionals, contractors. So we come from various backgrounds, and we're experts, we're masters at what we do. And we just want to share what we do with our community. So that's what drew me to We Fish and We Fish LLC.
So can you tell me some of the transitioning challenges that you faced when you left the military?
The biggest thing for me, being an officer, you're used to certain things. You're used to people doing things for you, whether out of obligation or just love for you or respect for you. You're used to people just kind of doing things for you. Not that I asked for people to do things, but people, when you're a decent leader, people want to do things for you. When you retire, when you are a civilian, you got to break that cycle. You can't just tell people what to do and they do it. So that was something I had to get. It didn't take me long, but I had to get used to it. That, hey, what Major Watson says is not the law. You gotta, and I've earned, I try to earn the respect of people where, if I should ask somebody to do something, they wouldn't feel that, I would do it for them. So we have that mutual respect, where they're not thinking I'm trying to get an advantage or take advantage of my position or whatever. Because when I retired, I actually, I started out as a contractor and I was a supervisor of a team. When I resigned from my last job, I had like 40 people working for me. So the respect was still there, but, it was not the same where, as a soldier officer type relationship. So that was one thing I had to get used to. Another thing I had to get used to was the pay cycle. My first contractor position, I was getting paid once a month, which it was like, hey, I had to learn how to budget, man. When the paycheck's only coming once a month, I had to learn how to budget quick, fast, and in a hurry. So, that took a little bit getting used to, but you learn as you go, man. And I love it. I love working for myself. I love answering to myself. I love, being accountable to myself. So it wasn't a hard transition.
So no, that is amazing, because I know through all of those changes that you still continue to grow, right? But you have so much valuable experience in your military career. Let me ask you, what is one piece of advice or valuable lesson that you learned in the military that allow you to thrive in the businesses and in your time after the military?
I think the biggest thing for me was to have a plan. Don't just do things on a whim. Have a plan and execute the plan. Things are not going to go perfect. The plan is, everything's not going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You may go 1, 3, 2, go back and forth, but at least have a plan, have a baseline. That was always the thing for me. I write down, I still to this day use my calendar. Everything I do is based on my schedule. If it's not on my calendar, it's like, it's hard. It's hard for me to break out of that cycle where I have to see it on my calendar. My days have to be planned, and not to say I'm rigid or I won't, go outside of the plan. But if you have a plan, if you have a schedule, you have an agenda, it makes it a lot easier. It makes, for me anyway, it makes it a lot easier. So when I need to deviate from the plan, I know what's next. So I won't be off course too far to the right or too far to the left. So that was one thing I did as a soldier. Always have a plan, have a schedule, and work that plan, work that schedule. And I encourage other people to do that. It's I'm telling you, especially being in business, we and Donnell know I share this with the other vendors. It's as a business owner, you're on the front, you're working for yourself. It's about making a sale or connecting with new customers. But on the back end, there's a lot of stuff on the back end that we neglect or don't pay attention to that'll come back and, start piling up, the back office stuff, the bookkeeping stuff, the maintenance stuff, the stuff that you don't think about until, hey, oh, it's tax time. I gotta do my taxes or whatever. So having planned, having systems in place to accommodate or to drive you to manage your business, it'll make you more efficient. It makes me more efficient. And if you're efficient in the small things, the big things won't surprise you.
You're absolutely right. I mean, if you have a plan, it would definitely help out with everything. But when you hit that first contact, sometimes you try to figure it out. So I got a question about VGA. You've been with us now in about a month, going on a year. It's being in the VGA family, and so can you tell America that's watching right now about why you became a part of the VGA family and how that has impacted you and your community?
Yeah, I think the better question is why I stayed in VGA. And you said it, the family. To me, that's what it is. It's a family. I get to, I know it's we're military, we're retirees. We have a bond that someone who has never served will never understand. They will try to, but they'll never understand it. So to have that family, to have that, that group where you can bounce ideas off, because we talk a certain way that other people don't know what we're saying. We have lingos, we have things that we say and we'll say it and we'll laugh and somebody will look from the outside and they'll say, what are these guys laughing at? So that was the key. That was the key for me with Veterans Growing America is the family. I stayed, we're staying because we have that family. We have that support. Not only what I receive, but the ability for me to share, to give back. I've been in business for myself for 10 years. And to have that opportunity to continue to grow, VGA offers classes from I know in the university, Amazon, Spotify. I'm telling you, where else can you get that stuff for free? And not only being able to receive, but to be able to give back, and have people receive because it's coming from somebody who knows what you've been through. We've been in the same foxhole, so we understand how to, when I see Donnell and he's not laughing the way I'm used to seeing him laughing, I'll ask him, are we good?
Mm-hmm.
You know, same with Don Jr. Are we good? You know, it's just, he's like a brother. You know, I know his mannerism. I know, you know, if he's not the person I saw last week, I got to check him. Hey, we good? You good? You know, but you can only do that with family. You know, other people will get offended. You know, if you go to Starbucks and look at a stranger and say, are you good? They might be offended.
Right.
But I know I could go to VGA. I'll hug every vendor in there and they know it's family. I'm not looking for anything. It's just love. So the question why we stayed is because it's a family. And to be able to be in business amongst family, you can't beat that. You cannot beat that. Every other business every brick and mortar store you go to, if you go to DSW, they're competing with the next person next door to them. You know, they're competing for that same dollar. Mm-hmm. Whereas at VGA, I have another vendor to my right, to my left in our foxhole. I could sell their product for them. They sell my product for me. And that's just how it is. We all benefit. We all benefit. That doesn't happen anywhere else.
Absolutely. This is, you know, like he said, we're a family. My wife's business is in there and my son's business is in there. And I want a safe place for people to be able to come and bring their family to VGA, their kids. We in fact, the other weekend, this lady brought in her entire family. That was one of our customers. She was like, hey, I wanted to bring my family member here. And so they bring their family, you know, to VGA. And so thank you for saying that. Because we're not only a family, but we're in business for ourselves, but not by ourselves. And we have a great time. We have a slogan, you know, shop baby. And so we want people to come out and shopping because we say it in a way that, you know, it is, when you say thank you for your service, that's wonderful. But when you shop and with a veteran, you're saying thank you for your service. It means it in so many different ways. So thank you, Andre, for being on the show. Rob, thank you for leading this podcast. I wouldn't be able to do this by myself. You doing you putting all of this stuff together. So I appreciate that. This has been a wonderful thing, and this does something for my heart. This helps me bring my family back together, my veteran family back together after service. So, man, this is great. You have me in goosebumps over here, Andre.
Oh, love, brother. Love you, man. Love your family. You man, you guys are just awesome. Awesome. You're a blessing, not only to me, but to every single veteran, every single vendor in VGA. And like you said, you know, it's we know all the kids. I mean, the kids that come in there, they're like our kids. You know, Donnell as soon as he walks into the store, there's a kid in that store, they're running up to hug him. And the same with me. Any baby all the way to teenager, you're greeted with a hug. And it's all because of you and the love. It starts with you. It starts at the top. If you weren't that type of person, that environment would not be the same. Honestly, it would not. So I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Love you.
Likewise. And that's why I wanted you on the show today. I wanted people to see what We Fish 2 provides for our community. It's not just the apparel, it's the added value. I remember the first phone call that we had, and you called me up and you was like, hey, we want to set a booth up in there. And I'm like, he gonna bring some fishing rods? Is he gonna? And then you guys set up and y'all had apparel, and I was confused. I was like, hold on, what's going on? And then just to hear the story behind it. And so to give you a little bit more background why I love We Fish 2 even more is my mentor, my grandfather, who I'm named after. So my first name is unique, but my middle name is Donnell Edward Johns. And that's why I always have an E in my name, because my grandfather taught me how to fish. And we used to go fishing in the San Francisco Bay. And when we go out there, we go out on his Bayliner, taught me how to cast, taught me how to catch fish, taught me how to, remove the fish from the hook. And so all of that, when I know the impact of that, and that's showing love to teach somebody something that you love. So, man, it really means a lot what you guys are doing, because it takes those kids into an environment that is so cool and so much fun, and you got to sit there and you got to wait. And so that means that you got to watch that reel. And then in between that time, you have to communicate. You got to build that relationship with that person sitting next to you, because it's a waiting game. So I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you were there at the event we had this past summer. We had 75 kids.
Yes.
75 kids and their parents at a park in Fairfax. And we're talking about as young as baby, 3 years old, all the way up to Grace was probably the oldest. She's probably in her 20s. But they all had a blast. They all enjoyed it. They all enjoyed a day out without the phones, without the distraction. And they just loved it. They loved it, man. It's just to see that's better than any dollar or $100 or $1,000 I could ever make in a day. Just to see the appreciation for something that we love, that paid it all back for me. So
they'll never forget that day too.
Yep.
Well, thank you. We're signing out. Rob, take over, brother.
Hey, everybody, thank you for joining the Veteran Growing America podcast. Andre, thank you for coming on. Man, I love these fruitful conversations, and I know that we're going to continue to grow the base, and we're going to continue to grow, like Andre and Donnell said, the family. But from now on, or I say from here on out, Donnell, what's the slogan, man? I just want to know the slogan. What's the slogan? Tell me.
All you got to do is shop, baby.
Shop, baby. And we are out.
Let's grow.
Let's grow.
Hey, great job, fellas. It is. Hey, Don, I think you still have to stop your recording on your end. So I pulled up the recording. It doesn't give me an option to stop it.
Yeah, I'm not on the.
Yeah, because it still says still recording, but it gives me an option to record as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It must be. Ooh, I hope this is. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping we recorded it, but I got recording on my end.
Okay, you got it recorded on your end. Oh, that's the AI recording.
Oh, so did we just do a whole hour without recording?
Did you press record?
I did, but
no, you're good then. So the AI is also recording, and it's taking notes of the whole. It's basically taking notes of the whole conversation.
Okay, because it doesn't. Let me see. Oh, see, that's a different recording. I don't think we recorded it, Don. I hope we did not. But let's see. After we stop it, let me see if it sends anything. If not, is there a day we can reschedule this?
It's recorded. Even if it records to the you press record
on your end. Yeah. I can't tell. Because the recording on my end, even when pressing recording, it doesn't change. It just says recording. So I would just have to see after we end the call.
Okay. If not, it still records to the AI, and I believe the AI, we can download it from there.
Okay. That's a good deal.
All right, if not, just let me know. We need to do it again.
Hey, well, at least we got all the notes. I see something is recorded.
Yeah, it records the entire thing.
Good. Yeah, and then we could just make it happen from there.
You pressed it on your end?
Yeah, I pressed it on my end.
Okay, you good.
But it doesn't change. I'm just hoping it pops up on my end. I'll let you know if it does.
Okay. Okay. Oh, hold on. So, Mara volunteered to be our sponsorship coordinator. She's been bringing in, we haven't got anything big yet, but we've been getting stuff.
That's good.
Yeah, I've been seeing it.
Yeah, Mara is a beast.
That's all it takes is a little bit of momentum.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing is coming into the new year. People kind of revisit their taxes and their write-offs. Definitely when you're looking for sponsorship, I've always started at the bank and then worked my way down bank and then other big businesses. But you gotta watch out for them because sometimes they'll be a little bit greedy, but offer them a little bit of advertising or a spot to showcase what it is they got, and we just hope that they don't kind of take away from what it is that y'all are doing. But
right.
Yeah, so all it takes is a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right, gentlemen.
All right, gentlemen. Y'all have a good evening.
Appreciate the time.